This is a fleet of brand new wide-body jets parked in Everett, Washington. The most advanced twin-engine airliner ever built. Boeing has been building them for years, and not one has ever carried a single paying passenger. This is the Boeing 777X. It was supposed to enter service in 2020. It's now 2026 and the first delivery has just slipped again to 2027. 7 years late, more than $15 billion in program charges. So what is exactly wrong with this jet? Because here's the strange part. The 777X flies. It's been flying since January 2020. The problem isn't in the air. The problem is somewhere much harder to fix. This isn't just Boeing problem. Over 500 of these jets are in order. Emirates alone is waiting for 205 of them, the largest wide-body order in history. Lufthansa, Singapore Airlines, British Airways, Cathay Pacific, they all plan their entire long-haul fleets around this aircraft. Those plans are now 7 years out of date. Airlines are flying jets they meant to retire years ago. The used 777 market has gone insane, and the delay has already cost Boeing more money than it took to develop some entire aircraft programs. But that's only the visible damage. The real question is why a company that once defined commercial aviation can get its own flagship out of order. To understand how it went wrong, you only need to know what the 777X was supposed to be. In 2013, at Dubai Air Show, Boeing launched the biggest product gamble in its modern history. The original 777 was the most successful wide-body of all time. The 777-300ER effectively killed the four-engine jumbo. But the Airbus was coming with the Airbus 350. Boeing needed an answer. So instead of clean sheet design, Boeing did something very clever and in hindsight, dangerous. Take the world best-selling wide body and stretch every number on the page. A longer fuselage than the 747, a brand new carbon fiber wing, so enormous that the wingtips have to fall just to fit the same airport gates, and under each wing the GE9X, the largest commercial jet engine ever built. Its fan alone is nearly as wide as the fuselage of a 737. On paper, unbeatable. 400 plus seats, twin engine economics, 10% better fuel burn than anything in its class. Airlines lined up. Emirates signs on the launch day, entry into service 2020. That was the plan. Almost nothing about it survived. The first crack in the plan literally was the engine. In 2018, during early testing, GE found premature wear in the GE9X compressor. Fixing it cost months. The first flight slipped from 2019 into January 2020. Annoying, but survivable. Development engines break. That's what testing is for. Then, in September 2019, something more alarming happened. During a ground stress test, engineering pressurized the 777X airframe far beyond normal limits, and the cargo door area failed violently. Boeing said the test was near its target load. Still, structural failure on a camera on your flagship. And then came the event that changed everything for this program, and it didn't happen to the 777X at all. Two 737 MAX jet crashed, 346 people died, and the investigation revealed that the FAA had let Boeing certify too much of its own work. Here's the part most people miss. The The 777 MAX crisis didn't just ground one aircraft, it ended an entire way of certifying airplanes. The 777X was designed under the old rules. It would now be certified under the new ones. Every assumption Boeing had made about how fast this jet would move through the FAA was suddenly worthless. The regulator that once took Boeing word now wanted to see everything: flight control software, load calculation, the folding wingtips, all of its restructured line by line. In 2021, the FAA sent Boeing a letter warning that the aircraft wasn't ready for a key certification milestone and pointed to an uncommanded pitch event during a test flight. Boeing quietly pushed entry into service to 2023, then 24, then 25. The jet kept flying, the paperwork kept growing, and the park fleet in Everett kept getting bigger. Dozens of finished and half-finished aircraft built for airlines and couldn't legally take them. But if you think the delay was only about regulators, this is where the story becomes mechanical. August 2024, the program is finally moving. The FAA has granted type inspection authorization, the phase where its own pilot fly the jet. Certification at last feels close. Then during a routine check, engineers find the crack in a component called a thrust link, part of the structure that transmits the force of that enormous engine into the airframe. One cracked part on a one test aircraft is a bad day, so they inspected the others. More cracks, the entire test fleet stopped flying, with the finish line in sight. Think about what that force actually is: over 100,000 pounds of thrust per engine, pushing through a handful of machine metal parts, thousands of times, flight after flight. The biggest engine ever built comes with the biggest loads ever fed into a twin jet structure. Boeing redesigned the component, months is gone again. And while the engineers worked, the business damage compounded. Emirates had built its entire fleet plan on this jet. It's the 777-300s ERs, the backbone of Dubai, are aging out. The Airbus 380 is out of production. Tim Clark, Emirates president, has spent 5 years watching his replacement fleet not arrive, and he stopped being diplomatic about it a long time ago, publicly blasting Boeing after each new slip and openly planning around the possibility the jet comes even later. Airlines everywhere face the same math: keep old 777s flying, pay for heavy maintenance checks on airframes you meant to retire. Lease replacement, good luck. Use 777, lease rates have surged because everyone had the same idea. Or shrink your network. There is no fourth option. Then, in October 2025, Boeing made it official: the first delivery would slip once more into 2027, and it took $4.9 billion charge in a single quarter. The pushed total charges on this program was $15 billion. Here is the thing most people get wrong about the 777X. They think the delay means the aircraft is flawed. There is something broken at the heart of the design. But look at the record honestly. The flight test aircraft have flown for 6 years, thousands of hours, and the jet itself has performed. The engine issues were found in testing, which is exactly where you want to find them. In May 2026, the first production 777-9 built for Lufthansa flew for the first time. The airplane, or the real problem, the one hiding under all of this, is that the 777X was designed by one Boeing and is being certified by another. Boeing of 2013 moved fast, self-certified aggressively, on the bet that the derivative of a proven jet will sail through the approval. Boeing of today operates under the most intense regulator any plane maker has ever faced. Every crack, every software work, every test anomaly that the program in 2010 would have fixed quietly now becomes a full documented months-long process. The 777X isn't just late because parts broke, it's late because it's the first all-new Boeing wide-body to pass through the most max world. It is the test case of whether Boeing can still certify an airliner at all. And that's why this spark fleet in Everett matters far beyond one program. The 777X is currently Boeing's only new airliner in the pipeline. There's no clean sheet jet behind it. It's whatever Boeing learns or fails to learn. Here is the shape everything the company built for the next 30 years. The jet was never the weakness. The system that builds and approves it was. FAA type certification in the second half of 2026. First delivery to Lufthansa in 2027, with Lufthansa itself planning around summer. If that holds, the 777X enters service 7 years late into a market that has changed underneath it. The Airbus 350 was built to beat now, has hundreds of aircraft in service and a decade of operational data. Some airlines that waited are quietly glad they kept flexibility. Others, especially Emirates, are locked in and simply need the metal. But watch two things. First, certification is done until it's done. This program has missed every public target it has ever set. So, treat 2027 as a goal, not a promise. Second, watch the ramp up. Delivering of the first jet is one thing, delivering hundreds, including reworking aircraft that have sat in the storage for a year, is a production challenge, nearly as hard as the certification. In a worst case scenario, airlines wait not just for the first 777X, but years longer than planned for the first fleets actually to arrive. The risk isn't that this aircraft can fly. It clearly can. The risk is whether it can scale and deliver and repay $15 billion before the industry stops waiting. There is a version of this story where the 777X becomes one of the great redemption arcs in aviation. The jet is real, the orders are real, over 500 of them. The airlines still want it because nothing else carries 400 people onto two engines with this economics. If Boeing delivers in 2027 and ramps cleanly in 10 years, the delay becomes a footnote. The way nobody remembers that the 747 nearly bankrupted Boeing before it changed the world. And there is a version where 2027 slips too, where the parked jets keep gathering dust and the largest twin-engine airliner ever built become the symbol of the moment Boeing lost the ability to do the one thing it exists to do. Both versions are still possible. In the next 12 months, decide which one we get. The 777X will fly passengers eventually. The real question, the one worth $15 billion, is whether Boeing still can or not.